Okay, so another episode of The Masked Professor is ready to go. Unfortunately, mostly audio in this case. I've already discovered it's going to be very hard to drink my tea during class wearing a mask. So apparently other arrangements will have to be made. Luckily, a friend of mine is working on a super secret project for masks that you can use with a straw. All right, so you have in your hands the syllabus for this class, which is ENGR 123, Computer Skills for Engineers. This is a foundational class for students in engineering and technology. And in it you will learn about how to use computers effectively in your academic career. All right, the faculty, I am Harry Whiting. My email, as you can see there, is hwhiting@navajotech.edu. My office is in Tech 323. That is the room that is right behind you there. My office hours are from 9:30 to 11 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Although I will arrange to meet with you at other times if that is more useful for you. All right, sorry, it was bothering me that the projector was still on. Our class meeting time is from 8 to 9:20 p.m. Oh, no, wait, a.m. What a mistake that is. So yes, please correct that on your syllabus. There is no textbook for this class. And what you need is to have a computer with Microsoft Office and a jump drive. It's okay if that computer is actually one in here. Now, never mind, I'll get to how we'll run the class here after a bit. All right, so the mission statement. The Navajo Technical University is committed to a high-quality, student-oriented, hands-on learning environment based on the Dene cultural principles of Nisahakis, Nahata, Ina, and Sinhasan. Our course description. This course will introduce the student to computer operation, interrelation of hardware and software, methods of effective use of the Microsoft Office suite. Emphasis is placed on how to create and format documents in Word, how to use formulas, add-ins, and other features of Excel for calculation or presentation and creation, formatting and use of PowerPoint to present reports and project results. Library research methods and the use of databases for finding journal articles are covered. A set of projects are assigned to utilize the most commonly used features of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Students are introduced to the best methods of presentation using these media. Other features which are important to creating engineering analysis and reports are covered. Okay, so overall, this is a pretty simple class. The difficulties in this class are probably going to come more from y'all having to listen to me drone on than from any of the material. All right, so the calendar, week 1 is going to be the syllabus, which we're doing today, and computer hardware. The assignments will be homework number 1 and quiz number 1. Week 2 will be about emails, files, and filing. Week 3, library use and electronic searches. Week 4, the basics of Word. Week 5, we continue talking about Microsoft Word. Week 6, still about Microsoft Word. Week 7, we move to the basics of Excel. Week number 8, we'll be doing Microsoft Excel. Also, week number 9 and 10, we'll be doing Microsoft Excel. Week 11, we will be doing the basics of PowerPoint. Week 12, PowerPoint. Week 13, PowerPoint. Week 14, PowerPoint. Week 15 will be the last week. Then we will be kind of wrapping up the class and getting ready for the end of the semester. And then ignore everything that theoretically happens in December. I meant to cut those out. Unfortunately, I seem not to have. The course outcomes,
Sorry.
you know, whenever you feel like...
I thought your class was online. I mixed it up with rags. Thank you.
yes, any place that's not labeled caution.
Okay.
All right, we're on page 2 of the syllabus.
Thank you.
The course outcomes, a strong understanding of computer operation and interrelation of elements within the computer, that writing conforms to the appropriate technical style with a format appropriate to the audience. Don't be looking at me like that, Miss Charlie. Appropriate use of graphics, mechanics and grammar are appropriate, and Oral, I am not sure how I'm going to handle, because usually I spend some time talking to you about how to give presentations and have you stand up in front of a class and talk. I am not sure how we're going to handle that yet. Or if we're just going to kind of gloss over that whole thing. So our grading plan is that homework will be 30%, final project 30%, quizzes 30%, class participation 5%, and attendance 5%. Now, how can we talk about attendance when we have we're not necessarily going to be totally in the classroom. After these first 2 weeks, if you feel like never coming back to class again and just emailing in your assignments, that's going to be okay. And I'm going to try and become so prolific at Zoom that you'll be able to just tune in and we'll be able to conduct class that way. If not, we'll have my camera recording the class and I will post the link to the video on Moodle for you to go to. So let me ask about y'all's preferences. Are y'all wanting to go to a more online situation, or do you prefer a face-to-face? I already had one student text me, how do I get online for this? And little does he know that he's going to have to wait and look at the video.
I'm okay with online.
All right, well, we got one vote for online.
Face-to-face.
I prefer face-to-face.
Face-to-face.
Okay, so I figured there would be some diversity in this. And what I'll do is I will be having the face-to-face class with either a Zoom component so that people can tune in, or I'll just video the class and post that. And that all depends on how good I am at getting my act together, I guess.
So if you're going to do face-to-face, are you going to make it all face-to-face, or are you going to still do a mixture of online and face-to-face?
At the very best, it will be that we have Zoom up and students that are not in Crown Point or whatever the circumstance is will be able to access that. But at the same time, it will be on the face-to-face class.
Okay.
Now, you're going to have to forgive me because I had to finish up the semester last spring in kind of a non-face-to-face fashion. But what I did there was I just did my regular lectures, I videotaped, and I would put the link on Moodle along with homework assignments, etc., for the students. So I am going to be feeling my way somewhat about how we can do this class and satisfy both audiences, if I may so describe them. Oh yes, at the end of the class, you can turn in a portfolio which is just a collection of all your homework and quizzes arranged neatly for extra. Pardon me, wearing my mask makes me sneeze. For extra credit. And that will give you a few extra points on your grade. A lot of times people do this because they're they're at a very high C and they want to get to a B, or they're at a high B and they want to get to an A. Or the A students almost always turn in their portfolios because they're just overachievers. When I say that, by no means do I denigrate A students. I know that as an undergraduate, I was not one of the highest achieving students. But I digress. Grading notes. Homework will mostly be done in class and graded on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so if you're watching the video or doing the class by a Zoom method, then you're going to want to do the same things that we're doing here in class to stay up. The 15 scoring homework assignments will be used in calculating final grade. Because we're only going 15 weeks, we may not end up doing 15 homework assignments, but I will adjust the grading scale appropriately. Homework that's not done in class is due 1 week after assignment for full credit, may still be turned in the next week for 75 credit, and no credit thereafter. Homework will always be computer printouts, except if a handout is given as an assignment. Weekly quizzes will be given at the beginning of Wednesday's class and graded on a scale of 1 to 10. The top 10 quiz grades will be used in calculating final grades. I like the paradigm of the weekly quiz. I have no idea how I'm going to do that with the online students. Just to be clear. Students who miss quizzes or tests will not be allowed to make up unless a legitimate written excuse is provided. Attendance will be graded based on the student's arrival on time. Participation is predicated on a student's questions or answers given during the class period. Students with 3 unexcused absences will be dropped. And I feel like I need to emphasize that last bit. One of the things I learned as an undergraduate is a prerequisite for doing well in class is actually showing up for the class. I once failed a class because I missed one class meeting. Unfortunately, it was the class meeting where they told us the most important part about thermodynamics. Okay, this time for sure. Was that a throat clearing or a question?
Throat clearing.
Okay, carry on. Students are expected to attend and participate in all class activities. As listed above, it is 5% of the grade. Points will be given to students who actively participate in class activities, including field trips, laboratories, and ask questions of guest speakers and other presenters. Okay, well, how we're going to have field trips is a good question. We probably won't have any field trips in this class. Cell phone use and headphone use. Please turn cell phones off or place them on silent or vibrate mode before coming to class. Also, answer cell phones outside of class, not in the classroom. Exercising cell phone use courtesy is appreciated by both the instructor and classmates. Headphones are to be removed before coming to class. That also applies to what do we call the earplug things?
Earbuds.
Earbuds or anything of that nature. Attendance policy. Students are expected to regularly attend all classes for which they are registered. A percentage of the student's grade will be based on class attendance and participation. Absence from class, regardless of the reason, does not relieve the student of his or her responsibility to complete all coursework by the required deadlines. Furthermore, it is the student's responsibility to obtain notes, handouts, and any other information covered when absent from class, and to arrange to make up any in-class assignments or tests permitted by the instructor. Incomplete or missing assignments will necessarily affect the student's grades. Instructors will report excessive and/or unexplained absences to the counseling department for investigation and potential intervention. So, if you don't want the NTU investigative unit on your tail, attend class. Instructors may drop students from the class after 3 absences unless prior arrangements are made with the instructor to make up work and the instructor deems the excuse acceptable. Study time outside of class for face-to-face courses. For every credit hour spent in a class, a student is expected to spend 2 hours outside the class studying the course materials. Okay, now that's a rule of thumb. I have had classes where I am spending like 5 or 6 hours for every hour in class working on the class. And I've had classes where I've spent almost no time outside of class on the class material. The important thing to remember is you need to do the work. The work in this class is very easy. I'm literally going to be doing the class, doing the work in front of you, either on the video or or in person. And all you have to do is follow along and do things like change my name to your name on it, things like that. Right? This is this is not a super tough class, except that people think it's so easy they stop doing anything, and then they end up failing, and they're like, how can I fail that class? Okay, academic integrity. Integrity, honesty, is expected of every student in all academic work and every scientist or engineer working professionally. The guiding principle of academic integrity is that a student's submitted work must be the student's own. Students who engage in academic dishonesty diminish their education and bring discredit to the college community. Avoid situations likely to compromise academic integrity, such as cheating, facilitating academic dishonesty, and plagiarism. Modifying academic work to obtain additional credit in the same class unless approved in advance by the instructor, and failure to observe rules of academic integrity established by the instructor may result in the student being dropped from class. The Dene philosophy of education. The Dene philosophy of education is incorporated into every class for students to become aware of and to understand the significance of the four Dene philosophical elements, including its affiliation with the four directions, four sacred mountains, four sets of thought processes, and so on. So, Nisahakis, Nahata, Ina, and Sinhasan, which are essential and relevant to self-identity, respect, and wisdom to achieve career goals successfully. Students with disabilities. The Navajo Technical University and the Engineering, Math, and Technology Department are committed to serving all enrolled students in a non-discriminatory and accommodating manner. Any student who feels that he or she may need an accommodation based on the impact of disability or needs special accommodation should inform NTU in accordance with the procedures of the subsection entitled Students with Disabilities under Section 7, Student Support Programs, NTU Student Handbook. If you are in need of accommodation, please contact Virginia Edgewater at vedgewater@navajotech.edu or 505-786-4138. And you'll notice there's another number there, 505-387-7396. All right, so that first number is the numbers from the old telephone system, and the one in parentheses is from the new system. Now, we seem to be having troubles here at NTU actually finishing the switch from the old system to the new system. So if one number doesn't work, use the other one. In fact, as I think about it, I did not put my new phone number, which is 505-387-7421. Okay, I presume at some point they're going to rip out my old phone and just leave me with the new phone, although they haven't done that yet. All right, so are there any questions on the syllabus? Okay, I see one vigorous head shake, and okay, I'm going to call that one a semi-vigorous head shake. And yes, sir.
Are we going to do any presentations this year?
I'm having trouble deciding how we could do presentations. So we will attempt to have presentations, but you may have to do your presentation at home and film it with your iPhone and send it to me. Again, I'm still trying to figure out how do we sort all these sheep from goats in our COVID-19 world that we have now. I'm sorry I can't be more specific. Even though I worked all summer with the provost's task force on how we could reopen the school, we just couldn't answer every question. And I can't answer every question about even how I'm going to do class at this point.
Okay, thank you.
You can probably do it through Zoom, right? If everybody's gonna be on Zoom.
Good point. Of course, that depends on my learning how to use Zoom. All right,
You had all
so,
summer.
all right, so before we disperse, let me make sure I've got this. I want to tell you all a little bit about myself. I went to junior college when I started going to college, and in fact, my father actually made me go to college. Well, I showed him by getting thrown out twice. It's not that I wasn't smart enough. It was that I was kind of like, what am I going to college for? Later, when I went back to school, to engineering school, I went right through with no problem because I was really interested. I really wanted to do that. When I first came here, the first semester I was here, the dean called me into his office. And he said, I have a student complaint about you. And that student complaint is
Nothing.
apparently, if you leave a dry erase marker in your pocket all summer, it gets dry. That student complaint said, you're sarcastic, you're blunt, you're boring, and you're mean. I would like to address these accusations. I do not like to be sarcastic. But I am ironic, and some people have trouble telling the difference. When you're sarcastic, you're trying to hurt somebody's feelings. When you're ironic, you're pointing out the humorous contradiction in the situation. Blunt, damn it, I can't function without a dry erase marker. 1 second. me. I have many in here. The smell of a new dry erase marker. Actually, these are low odor, I can't smell them. All right, sarcastic. Instead of blunt, I prefer the word concise. We really don't have a lot of time in class for the amount of material that we usually have to cover. So I have to put things together as tightly as I can. Concise. Boring, well, very often we have to we're covering very technical material. I make it as exciting as I can, but sometimes the amount of excitement that can be injected is low. And mean, I reject that utterly. Look, I'm an old bachelor. I have no children, and as old and ugly as I am, it's unlikely I'll ever have children. You guys are my legacy. I want to build you guys up. I don't want to be mean to you. I want to teach y'all the technical skills that you need to become good engineers and technicians and be able to go out into the world and show everybody what a great school Navajo Technical University was and how great an engineer or technician that you are subsequently. So, there you have it. Now, I'm going to do my best, again, to make this class interesting, exciting. We will have a project in this class for you to do, and I want you to put together a report and a presentation for it. But it won't be super hard. Essentially what I'm going to ask you to do is research one paper on your project and kind of give us a report on that paper. And it could be one that you totally agree with, and or one where you say, these people are totally screwed up, I can't even believe this.
And the project will be on anything, or is it going to be specific?
Well, it's going to have to be a peer-reviewed paper on engineering or technology, okay? So that should make it pretty easy. Damn it, someone's stolen one of my erasers. Now you saw that we have essentially at least one homework and one quiz every week. I'm still trying to figure out how we handle the quiz for the people that are online, either partially or totally. But all right, so homework number one is email me from your navotech.edu account and in the subject line put homework number one and today's secret word, catchism. God, I hope I'm spelling this correctly. All right, I'm not spelling it correctly. All right, we apparently have to go with a word that I can actually spell. That narrows it down considerably. Okay, how about revisionism?
Are you making up words?
That's an actual word.
Revisionism.
You be careful, Miss Charlie. I'll start throwing French words in there.
Tu parles en français?
I'm sorry?
I said, tu parles en français? Je parle un peu.
Je parle un peu.
Yes, un peu.
Okay, so that's your homework number one. But again, your Navotech account. Okay, don't send me one from partygal263 at garciabass.com. Okay, are there any questions at this point?
So the email just consists of the subject line, that's it? Nothing written in the email?
If you would like to write something in the email,
Okay.
go wild. But what I mostly want is I want to have your email so that if I have to email you about class projects and things, I can send that out and there won't be a problem. Because in the past I've had this problem, I get down to the point where I'm gonna send emails and then I've got these 5 emails. It's partygirl263, bassism 101, you know, all these weird names on the emails and I have no idea who they're associated with. All right, well, that's going to be it for today's class. Thank you very much for attending in person. And I will revise the syllabus and post it on Moodle. I will post this video on Moodle, or at least a link to it. And we will go from there.
So you said for the first 2 weeks, you want us to be here physically in class?
I would like that a lot.
Okay.
And I think it might be easier for you. Yes, sir.
What about the people who want to be face-to-face? Will we still be attending classes?
No, I will be having the class in here for those of you who want face-to-face. And we'll work like that. All right, this is actually going to be an experimental semester to find out if this class can be taught well, not face-to-face. So we have our control group, and then we'll have the experimental group. Okay, well, if that's everything, thank you very much for coming, and when it's Wednesday at 8 o'clock, I will see you again.
Sounds like you had a fun summer.
Yes, there's nothing better than working all summer for no pay. No, I did have a fun summer. I'm just kidding
What
around.
did you do? Did you work on
I
any
came to
projects?
work and worked with Dr. Bowman's task force.
Oh, is that our new professor here?
No, Dr. Bowman is our provost.
Oh, I don't know that person. I should know.
Yes, you should. Okay. Why is this not just coming? Damn it. So far, it seems like these.
Did I press stop?
Yes, it's the button in the back.